Kate Mulefalcher. Welcome to Irish Granny Helen, but more importantly, welcome to my returning beloved guest, Dr. Ann, the Sentient Academic. Hi.
Hi, kia ora,
Say it in
everyone.
Maori.
Okay, kia ora koutou katoa ko and Dr. Ann toko ingoa. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ann.
I love it.
That's a Trail Maori, the indigenous language here in New
Well,
Zealand.
I say
Yeah.
Maori like I say things in French. My French teacher was from Oklahoma, so just
Okay,
think
got
about
it.
that. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh, so good to reconnect with you. And obviously, you're
Yeah.
freezing to death where you are.
Oh, it's so cold. Southerlies from the Antarctic. I don't wish them on my worst enemy. They're so cold.
We're all melting. Actually,
Well, you can
I'm
come down
not,
here.
large chunks of the country are. It's really, it's
Yeah,
alarming.
and Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I wouldn't even want to be in a desert state at the moment. I mean, love the desert most of the year, but I remember I lived in Nevada, southern Nevada, in the Mojave Desert, and for a few summers, and man, whew, once it
You
gets to a
like
certain heat.
that environment.
Well, my family's originally from Nevada, so and Northern California, so that's kind of where I grew up and had summers up in Northern Nevada, and Southern Nevada is alt level hot though in summer.
Yeah,
But it was just
I don't
crazy.
like deserts at all.
Oh well, there's an austere beauty to them. It's just different. It's kind of like wherever you're raised, I guess. My
I
mom
think
and dad
so.
loved
It's
it.
in your blood,
Yeah, there's something to it. Some of it can be pretty monotonous when you're driving, but just looking at the large, that's what I miss here in New Zealand. You don't get the large expanses of land that you can cast your eyes across. Or you've got bush here, but it's not, they call it bush, but forest, it's not like forest trees, like pine trees. And, but you've got, Lord of the Rings stuff in the South Island where you get that deserty, kind of really unique, kind of moody atmosphere. It's quite stunning. It's just another place. You've got to come visit sometime, Helen, because it's truly magnificent. The flora and fauna is just different than anywhere in the world.
It's just my luck that finally, at my ripe old age, I make friends. You, Nate in Europe, and a couple of other people who invite me to come visit them. And you're going to have to put a nuclear bomb under my ass.
Well, it's getting there. That's the pain in the bum part, right? And the bottom.
Oh,
but yeah, and border crossings are getting more. It used to be a lot more relaxed, let's put it that way, and now it's just getting a lot. It's really stressful. I find it, except for unless you're really, really rich person, but who is?
Oh, we
I don't
could
know
make
anybody
a
who is.
whole separate video about that.
Yeah,
That's
those people.
Terrible. Yeah. I
Mhm.
did a thing the other day about, it was just a little fragment of a thing the other day. We were in a larger set of news stories about air travel and how the CEOs of air companies have realized they used to think that they would attract customers by offering great deals to ordinary people. And they realize that's not where the big money is. The big money is offering snooty people with a lot of money the luxuries of Cleopatra, So, they've got celebrity chefs in the what do you call it?
Menus, yeah,
Yeah,
and
inside
yeah,
the airport. I couldn't think of the word. Airport.
yeah, the
Yeah.
lounges, the executive lounges. Yep.
Yeah. And they now have these little cubicles on the airplanes. Meanwhile, they're talking about trying to have all the bargain ticket people sort of semi-standing up. They proposed this. I've seen mock-ups of it. It's like, it's horrifying. It's just horrifying.
Sounds like we're herds of cattle, to be honest.
It's even worse than that. Yeah.
Well, economy is squishy, that's for sure. But you've got to take it and just do it and run with it. And Yeah, especially the long haul. I mean, that's all we've got from New Zealand. We're so geographically inconvenient. It's a long haul flight anywhere. I mean, a short flight's 3 hours, you know, 3.5 or an hour and a half. If within New Zealand, of course, it's super short. But to get to other places, it's going to be a day, 2 days to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
It only takes 2 days to get around the world nowadays, anyway. If you're lucky.
Well, I have a feeling, this is just a gut feeling, that
Mhm.
things continue apace the way they are.
Mhm.
Uh, just hopping on an airplane is going to be a thing of the past. I don't think that this is going to endure because the price of air fuel, airplane.
Yes, well, believe it or not, we have an acquaintance that happens to work in the industry, and without government subsidy, there's no way that they could. You have to have to be an OECD kind of country. You have to have air travel and be connected across different countries for freight, for business, for everything, for an economy, for a healthy economy. And they said he was telling me, even if they increased the prices of air tickets $1,000, they still wouldn't cover the cost of fuel. So they
No,
have come up
I
with all these
believe
different,
that.
yeah. So and of course they've cut down flights,
Yeah, they're doing that.
and
They're cutting back
mhm,
the places that connect,
yep,
and they're cutting back the number of times they fly back and forth from places,
yep, the whole
and
lot. Hmm.
raising the prices just really dramatically. And there
Yeah.
are no amenities, I'm surprised they don't
Mm.
charge you to use the toilet, and which
Yeah.
doesn't bode well for some of us. and
Yeah.
and then I think the reality is there are not enough air traffic controllers to make it
Well,
safe.
that's the biggest concern, and they're quite vulnerable. I think the industry is really stretched thin, to be honest. And
Oh,
also, like another acquaintance of mine, her father worked in the air industry in terms of repair records and so forth for aircraft and monitoring them and things. And there are particular airlines that are great and you only want to fly with them, and there are particular airlines you don't want to fly with, but she didn't tell me what those were. I don't want to know. I'm like, all I know is that the one that New Zealand does okay. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll take it.
how about that
But
poor
I
guy
didn't.
that got halfway sucked out the window of the Ryanair jet and his wife had to hold him in the whole time? Did you hear about that?
No,
You didn't?
I don't want to know about that. When did
This is
that
just
happen?
a couple of weeks ago.
No, I've had
The
to take a
window
news
broke.
hiatus.
The window broke, and
Ryanair
he
is
went.
notorious too. It's supposed to be a real good economy, like real cheap. Like,
Ryanair, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, he got sucked out the window to about his waist. His wife grabbed his legs, and for the rest of the trip, she had to hang on to him to keep him alive.
Oh my god.
My nightmare.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was just thinking about the types of injuries that poor fella sustained.
He had the equivalent of burns from the air moving past so fast.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
And it was cold air too.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
But
that poor
I would think
fella.
that the
I think
trauma.
he has a really good case to go to court.
Oh yeah, oh baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may be able to buy his own private jet when he's done. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
well, I mean, wouldn't
terrible.
that be better? But those private jets, they're more susceptible to turbulence than the big ones.
They also are far more polluting. People use them for
Oh, okay.
short hops,
Oh,
but it
okay.
takes a certain number of hours in the air before you blow out the soot. I'm speaking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
metaphorically. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you a slightly different thing. I
Sure.
stumbled on a documentary about a week or two ago, and I
Mhm.
thought, oh, I have to ask you about this. Now, what year did you move there?
It was before 9/11. It was that
Oh, okay,
year.
you've been there a long time. Okay,
Yeah.
so this video was about the Christchurch earthquake.
Oh, yes, I remember what I was doing on the day that that happened. I remember. I mean,
Oh, I knew it was bad,
yeah.
but I'd never really paid attention. Oh
Mhm.
my God. There was a woman, a young woman, who was like a TV person,
Mm-hmm.
and she happened to just be in, well, the wrong place at the wrong time, because the worst stuff happened in the business district of Christchurch.
Yes, yes, and the CTV building, that pancaked
She happened to be
yeah.
outside. She was
Oh,
lucky. She wasn't
yeah.
inside the building, she was
Hmm.
outside. And she was there for the immediate, I mean, the earth was still shaking, and she just sort of, I can't remember now if she recorded. I don't think she recorded it on herself. I think she was with a
Hmm.
cameraman. They were on their way to do
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so they just happened to start roll film.
yeah, they did. Yeah, her boss,
Wow.
she called her boss. I mean, you could see her do all this. She called her boss and said, what do we do? And he says, well, is so and so with you? Start filming. Just report live.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was unbelievable. And it was really
Mm.
informative about how the different ways people react in an emergency.
Yes, it's really, really interesting. I actually I'm just aware about all the fatalities, and there was also at the time what was really interesting is there was a celebration of New Zealand Navy, and so navies from all over the world came to New Zealand. I think it was like the 100th year. I don't even know of the Navy for New Zealand. Anyway, so all these ships were here, including an American frigate, I think. And so everybody, all the ships just went down to Christchurch to help.
And they
And
really
the Navy,
needed the help. Yeah, because the
yeah, they
roads
did.
were destroyed. I
And that's where
wrote
the
down.
Student Volunteer Brigade came into play. Did you hear about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so there are students at the universities. They were like, right, we're going to get stuck in and start helping people. So they just volunteered through social media and just went over and helped neighbors dig out things, fix things, get them oriented, especially the elderly, they're and the infirm.
Yes, we do
So
need a lot of help.
I resemble that
It was
remark.
remarkable. It was remarkable how people responded, and how some people, I mean, there were people there who worked dragging people out of the rubble and trying to move by hand because there was no equipment,
Yeah. Yep.
for like 48 hours.
Yes, and you know what was interesting? One of the things, my husband, because of his industry, ever since then, he's always made sure all of us have things in our car in case an emergency happens, like beyond the normal first aid kit. So we're good to go if there's another, because this is totally, we're on the ring of fire, totally, and there's actually a lot of geologic activity happening at the moment.
That's right.
One of the fault lines is coming through, where the islands are, because islands push up, right? Because the plates are, and usually because there are hot spots in the Earth's crust, which is a hot spot, ends up as being a volcano of some kind.
Becomes an
some kind of
island
volcanic.
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of, the most out of all the places is where the country's capital is Wellington. That's the most dangerous spot. But
Well, people
I
didn't
mean,
know.
Christchurch, yeah. Well, Christchurch, I remember this farmer he left his house for the morning, had to go out, and there was a boulder, a massive multi-ton boulder at the top of this hill. It got loose, rolled down the hill, and bore a massive hole through his whole house. It was like when you look at his house, there was just a big gaping hole in the
Like
middle
a
of it,
cartoon.
right through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
real
I
life.
wrote down some stuff because I thought this was
Yeah.
really, pardon the pun, shocking. So a year before, almost exactly a year before, there was an earthquake in, I forget the Cambridge, something like that. Cascadia, something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was also in New Zealand, and it was a
Okay.
7.1. That's a pretty sizable earthquake.
Yeah, that is. You think that would let off enough pressure, though, right?
The earthquake they had in Christchurch was an aftershock.
Shivers. That makes sense.
6.3.
And that's not a lot.
That's not a lot, but there.
Oh, can I tell you? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Well, the CC, that building that fell, that bless all those lives that passed because that's horrific.
185 people died.
Yeah. It's pretty horrible. Anyway, I was in a building like that in Auckland. There's supposed to be a condemned building. They didn't have room for our team to move, but so we had to move into this condemned building. And what it was is a concrete pillar in the middle that everything kind of hung off of. It was bad design.
sounds
Anyway, but
stable.
I was sitting at my desk. My chair would roll forward, and I get squished between my chair and my desk. I mean, because I couldn't move because
Is
of
this
the
during an
lean of the
earthquake
floor.
or in
No,
real
it's
life?
just that was in real
In
life
real life.
on the floor. I couldn't. When I left that job, I was so happy. It scared me, Helen. I do
Yeah.
not like ever since. Well, the Loma Prieta earthquake in California. Remember that one? I was in the middle of downtown San Francisco for that one.
Well, at least you weren't on the freeway.
Oh, those poor people. Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah,
Stimson.
anyway.
Oh my God. I don't know if you remember the earthquake. You probably weren't even born in California in the Valley, not the Northridge earthquake. This is even earlier than that. This
No, I
happened
would have remembered. There was one there. I remember as a kid.
in the
there were a few.
70s, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I remember that.
Was in the valley, basically.
Yeah.
What was it? The Simi Valley? I can't remember.
Is
now
that the one where the buildings, like people
the
passed
Veterans
away?
Hospital collapsed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in college
Oh my God.
in LA. And I'll never forget it. I was on the 5th floor of a dormitory building, and that earthquake started. And I looked out the window, and I am not kidding you. I watched palm trees do this.
Oh. Yep. Nope. Yep.
Like this.
Yep.
There was a greater risk of heart attack than there was getting hurt.
Well, you know what happened with the Loma Prieta? I think a lot of people's lives were saved because that was of the World Series, right? And the company I worked for, it was a law firm at the time. They represented San Francisco Giants. They were the reps. So famous people would come in and sign contracts and stuff every once in a while. I was just a wannabe. I was the lowest low, like a paralegal training, because I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. After that, I was like, no way. Anyway, but that's a little side story. But I was at my bus stop at Market, Pine and Davis, if you know San Francisco. So Market is a massive street and multi-layers underneath it. And then one comes in towards Market, one leaves out of Market. And so a lot of people, there would be bus stops and the express buses you could get to your neighbor. Yeah. So I was sitting there waiting, and the bus pulls up, and then it hits. And I have a little leather jacket because, being cosmopolitan gal I was.
Because you're cool. Come on.
Yeah.
I can tell
Anyway,
you're dressed.
I know. People were looking around. When the earthquake started, because you usually feel people running to catch their buses, I thought it was a really fat person running past me to catch the bus. I know. Sorry, everyone. No offense to anybody here. Anyway, so I'm like, So I grab my jacket, and I'm leaning up against this building thinking, no shards of glass are going to get through my leather jacket. Because, I thought glass would fly out. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I saw the bus. It looked like it was on donuts. The bus was doing this, and the driver didn't know whether to get out or in of the bus. He was paralytic. And then at the corner, I could see the corner building where one side of it is Market Street, the other side's Pine or whichever it was. It was shaking so much. It was like a physics experiment. You could see the wave start at the bottom. It was going like this all the way up the building. And then I looked across the street, and buildings that you couldn't normally see were doing this. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's
mind-boggling.
Then we got a week off of work. Nobody just showed up. I just didn't. I was too scared.
You can't go into those old buildings. They're not.
No, I worked on the 28th floor of a 29th floor building. Okay, that's what lawyers do. They like to be at the top, kind of like
Yeah.
Anyway, so the week after, I was back at work, and the elevator opens, and the floor's at our eyeballs.
Oh God! That's my
The whole lift, everybody in the lift went silent. And then the door closed, and then it got to the next floor, and it was properly opening at the floor, you know,
And
so you
everybody
could
got
get out. Everybody got out. I went to my boss's office. I was like, you know, she's like, just go home. I was, and ever since then, I've been skittish to work in tall buildings. And ever since then, I've been scared to death to stop. You know how when you're in a city and you have a traffic light that goes under, there's an overpass with cars. If I'm stuck in an overpass, my hands get sweaty.
Yeah, me too.
Still.
It's post-traumatic stress. It is
I know. It's
terrifying.
nuts.
So that was being on the 5th floor of a dorm, right? During that awful
Yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
Until I moved away, I was in every single awful earthquake, like in the wrong place. So there was
Yeah.
an earthquake outside the islands in Santa Barbara
Okay.
in 1978, 79.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Mhm.
I was working in a hospital, and I was on the 5th floor. There's something about 5th floor.
Number 5 for you is not a good number.
Yeah. So I was like the floor manager at the time. I was going to school in the morning and working there on the night shift, the evening shift. And I had just gotten to work. And it was always really busy when the shifts change because you've got 2 sets of employees, the ones going home and the ones coming on to work. It's a bit chaotic. All the stupid doctors pick that time to come by and look at their patients. So it's crazy, right? So we had just been moved. They were renovating unit by unit. And so they were playing musical chairs with all the units. And this was the first day that we were not in our familiar space. We were in this whole new environment. And it was also a time when they didn't have a lot of money anymore, and they didn't want to spend money on office supplies. So you had to bring your own pen. And this is before computers. And my pen was my lifeline, right?
You're right.
So a physical therapist came up to me, and I'm standing at the desk. I'm on the phone. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And the physical therapist came up and he pantomimes, "Can I borrow your pen?" And I put my hand on the speaker. I said, "I'll kill you if you don't bring that back," because I need that.
Yeah.
Right? So he takes off with my pen, and I finish my phone call, and I hang up the receiver, and I turn around, and he's disappeared with my pen. And I went like this. I was frustrated, and I like that on the desk, and the whole place started to shake. I thought I broke it. I thought it was just
you're breaking things. I'm surrounded by really, massive commuters.
I thought
we've got godlike senses.
One of these internal desks that connected a whole area, like a corral, with a space above it with a counter, right? And the counter, if you sat at your desk, the counter was about here, but you had all this space to hang things and shelves and stuff. Yeah. And when I whacked the desk, the whole thing started. Oh my God. When it was over, there was a crack in the wall at the time clock between all the wings on the 5th floor. We went to clock out that night, and there's a crack in the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what's worrisome. I mean, there's still people that have red tag. So if your home gets tagged red from any kind of geological event in New Zealand, then you can't live in it. You have to move out. So that happened. There's still people living in homes like that refuse to leave their homes, that are just at risk of perishing in their homes. We had it up here when we had that horrible cyclone Gabriel, which is like a hurricane. It's just an opposite direction.
Right.
So that people died in that with mudslips and stuff. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
The world's going nuts, I think. I think Mother Earth is just, I don't know, global warming.
Gaia is sick of us, and she's shaking us off.
That's what I'm thinking. Nobody's appreciating her enough. I'm grateful.
Yeah, but sometimes some of the good have to be sacrificed to get rid of the bad. We're screwed. Any way you look at it.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
why I'm glad I'm old. I'm really grateful that I am the age I am, not because of any other factor, but because things are coming to a head, and I don't regret that I'd be losing time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing I worry about though too with all these changes like artificial intelligence and world politics getting nuttier and everybody just kind of losing it worldwide in different ways. I think about, oh my gosh, my kids, what's going to happen with them? Are we going to give them
I've come to peace with it. I'll tell you why. I mean, this
mhm.
might sound kind of cold-blooded, but
No.
I think you're born at a particular time in a particular place for a
Mhm.
particular reason.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that's their karma.
Yeah.
And just like you can't let yourself obsess about what might happen to yourself,
Yeah.
it's your karma. It's like the Stoics say, it's not about what happens, it's about how you react to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall for me, and because, with the world changes and things, universities are a little microcosm of society,
Yeah.
and you get a lot more people in there that are, how should I put this politely? I don't know, but very assertive in their thoughts and their thinking.
They're
Academics.
ideologists. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that the right word? Yeah. Yeah.
and mavericks and people that just want to swim up the river against everybody else, so you get all kinds of opinions, and that's the way it should be. Everybody should have an opinion and so forth, and so
Yeah,
this
but
is
they
like
were all
so,
smarter than anybody else, right?
oh god, that's the thing that drives me nuts. Okay, intelligence, kindness, and common sense do not have to go together. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of ego. There's so much
Oh, there's
ego.
ego all over
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
you can't do that. At the end of the day, for me, it's like I'm around a bunch of teachers who are super smart and just want to help people. And at the end of the day, we're all teachers of some kind. Um, Even as mothers, I guess you could extend it out. But in the academic sense, my team, we work with the lecturers and professors across the board to lift their game and their teaching and learning and their program design and their course designs and challenges they're having. And, it's a very intimate space, but they're the subject matter experts. My expertise area is, teaching and learning, right? So
Yeah, it
I've
would be
learned a
very
lot.
easy for you to get caught up because now we're in a new world, a paradigm shifted world,
Yeah.
where technology is now king, right? And
Mm,
as somebody who's got a gift for that, it would be very easy if you were a different kind of person. It would be very easy for you to become arrogant and obnoxious.
yeah.
Like I don't know, somebody like his name rhymes with husk, for
Yeah.
example.
I even before you said that, that person came to mind
You
right
knew,
away. I
yeah.
knew
Yeah.
right away.
but we each have, we hope, strengths, and we certainly all have flaws. And
Yeah.
it's too easy to let yourself get caught up in, oh, look what I can do.
Yeah, and the world's too life's harsh enough. You don't need to be harsh to other people. I think the academic world is really nasty if you get things wrong or if you do something so outside of the box of their kind of, yeah, thinking that you aren't part of the community anymore. So for example, it's called scientism. I mean, you know
Yeah,
what
they're
that is.
very
Yeah.
conventional thinkers. Yeah,
Yeah,
i
they
just i
are.
just did a book on
Mhm.
well, it talks a lot about epigenetics, but it also talks about
Mhm.
uh, reincarnation
Oh, cool.
and just trying to draw connections, right?
Yeah.
And the book has to say over and over and over again. Now, this is not mainstream science because this is not solid proof. We're talking hypotheses here. We're talking, some of it is
It's a
theory.
thought experiment, right? Yeah. So scientism, for people who may not know what that is, who are watching this, what that is the idea that a research area, you to become a member of it, to earn your doctorate in it, you have to learn the ways and thinking of that research subject area, kind of like its own religion. So, so if you digress or change the way of thinking, your way of thinking and researching outside of the conventions and norms of that particular subject area, you can become an outcast, or your research, so instead of being inclusive. So, for example, I always thought academia research would be open to new ideas and open to proving new things, but actually it's not. Some of it is just so close-minded with how you're expected to behave as a researcher that it is ignoring all other possibilities sometimes. So for people like me, I'm an interdisciplinary researcher. So I took my research from 2 different schools of thought for my thesis, for my doctoral thesis. And people didn't know how to handle it. But, I was cited 5 times, and one of the top researcher from Cambridge University, 5 times. Okay, I'm bragging, but
Really?
this is like my innate.
I'm having second thoughts about having this conversation now. I feel really scared.
No, I just know a lot about a little thing, and that's all it is. Okay, so it doesn't mean, okay, and I can string some thoughts together, but that's about it.
Oh, and I know a lot about nothing.
But that's cool too, to be a generalist, right? I mean,
is that what it's called?
I don't know. But anyway, the whole idea is if you try to break out of the box and out of the norms, then you aren't considered to be an active, acceptable participant in that school of thought. So,
well, that's status quo, the conventional kind of thinking.
Yes.
It gets in the way of making progress, because science is not static. It evolves, and it evolves every time something new is discovered, every time there's a new set of data that contradict what's believed. You can't just say, not you, but they can't just say, oh, well, this doesn't agree, throw it out. They have to remain open-minded, and even if you can't explain it, you have to remain open-minded. And it gets in the way of making advances. There are so many things right now that mainstream science ridicules, and things in the recent past that they've written. Well, look at the whole idea of quantum entanglement.
Yes, I love that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I've been reading about that, and I'm not a physics person. I can't tell. I think I flunked physics more often than any other living person. but Newtonian physics never made sense to me. Quantum physics makes sense to me.
Yes, it does. Yes, and that's so cool. Yeah, no, I agree.
Really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a quote somewhere that says magic is unexplained science.
Yes.
So it's just a discovery and new way of thinking, awaiting discovery. So the quantum physics and all those research areas are really fascinating because they're opening new understandings to things and new sets of laws and rules or whatever. I don't know. Why do you have to even put a law on something? But, theoretically, it is. Why would you put a law like Newtonian laws and entanglement laws that everything must fit into this neat, tidy picture? I wouldn't even put laws or conventions on anything. I would just say it is what it is.
Patriarchies are very authoritarian.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, really.
So is academia. Academia is.
Yeah, it's very rigid, right? Hierarchical.
Oh.
I talked to this guy not too long ago who helped with a book and then wrote, the authors of the book eventually died, and he carried forward their work into modern times, talking about modern technology. And really his area is psychology, but he's got a PhD in parapsychology. Now, who knew you could get a degree in that, a doctorate?
Yeah, that's cool.
He teaches it in Northampton in England. And, I know. And he was talking so much about stuff that we talk about all the time, but we're talking about it from more of a woo-woo point of view,
Okay.
And he's talking about it in really rigid psychological, disciplinary terms. And I told him, I'm really taken aback that you are as embraced as you are by your academic community, that you're not ridiculed, that they're willing to listen to you. He,
Hmm.
you know, he travels, he gives lectures, he get, you know,
Sure.
really respected in
Right.
his field, and the field is respected now. And he said it didn't used to be that way, but they're beginning to realize, you know, the more you know, you realize the less you know.
Yes, and that's the whole thing, right? I find it interesting the more that humans evolve. I mean, you have it being a doctor was always kind of a pedestal kind of thing, be it medical, non-medical variety, whatever. It's always been kind of a pedestal. Oh, if I get a doctorate, I'll be smart and I'll get the accolades. But really, we don't know. And technology pushes that curve out, and the ways of detection and measuring, and even just everything is not quantifiable. All research is predicated on the fact that it's got to be observable and measurable, whatever it is that you're studying, to be able to get themes and ideas from it and findings, right? So not everything's observable and measurable like feelings.
That's right. Well, because you're operating, not you, but that
Yeah,
concept is
one, yeah.
operating from the
Mhm.
context that everything is material.
Well,
Everything's
that's the thing.
and it,
Yeah.
you know, and now they're beginning to realize, oops, maybe not so much, you know. And my favorite is the work that they're doing with consciousness and the brain, because
Mhm.
they cling to the notion that the brain is where it all comes from. And they're really resisting the research that's showing. I mean, it's not proof, but it
Yeah.
suggests something. It's supportive of the argument that consciousness is non local and the brain is a transmitter. You know, and it's just what we use. It's the tool we use to interact with our physical reality, which
Right.
is not even real. That's that. Okay, you explain this to me. You're a
That's cool.
scientist. Tell me what this means, because this drives me insane.
I hope I can.
So quantum physics. So the idea is that particles don't exist as particles. They are waves until they are observed.
Yes, that's the Neil Bohr experiment,
What the hell is
the
that?
double
That
slit
makes
experiment.
no sense to me at all.
Well, that's
Because
how
I
they realize
know
it. Yeah.
my
Mhm.
furniture downstairs is down there. You know,
Well, this is where it gets really mental, this kind of stuff, because I mean, that's why physicists are. If you
wacko.
ever have a conversation, yes, I went to a party at UC Berkeley that was with all PhD students. There were physics PhD students, and it was the most out of it party I've ever been to. Just
Well,
to talk, the way they talked, it was just nuts.
well,
They
you know,
were
the
just,
Unabomber was a PhD student at
I know,
Berkeley.
they're on the verge of like, well, he's a special case for sure,
Yeah.
but they were just the way they thought and the way they spoke. It was really interesting. Anyway, so back to the double slit experiment. So how they started quantum entanglement and the justification for it. Okay, let me get a piece. Well, just use this coaster. Okay, so imagine you got this coaster right here. And what they did is they took a machine like a projector and they were shooting particles at it, protons at it, right? So the whole idea is if you're shooting stuff at it, that it'll bounce off or go somewhere else. Or, I mean, what do you think will happen, Helen? If you shoot something directly at us at this, what do
It's
you
going to
think will
hit it.
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to hit it and it'll bounce off and go other things, right? So light, right? When light hits things, it bounces off and goes all over. And we have different ways of perceiving light, right? But anyway, so it's a controlled experiment, environmental conditions. And so
Right. Right.
so what they did is they opened it up with two slits. And they're like, okay, we think the particles are going to go through the two slits. And I don't know the physics behind what actually happened. I'm not that kind of physicist, but this is the result. What happened? They shot them. And instead of the particles going through, they just went around like they had agency. And you're like, what? Doesn't make sense. How did that do? Why did that happen? Anyway, they have all the science and all the formulae and everything to explain it, but basically that was the beginning of the
Quantum.
understandings of quantum and the
Yeah.
quantum field, and how, because we're so, how we perceive everything on the earth based on gravity, based on day and night and all those things. The quantum, those laws don't exist in the quantum
Right. If it's
universe.
subatomic, that doesn't count anymore.
Yeah, subatomic is just a
Yeah.
totally different universe. So, so that's, I can't remember who, if I got the name right, who did that experiment. But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
so that's the basis. So on top of this, there are all these different theories that have resulted from it, and research areas, and
Yeah.
you know, and entanglement theory. So meaning, so we're all entangled and connected in some way, right?
Interconnectivity,
Yeah, interconnectivity. So they, of course, scientists have to do something observable and measurable and explainable in our 3D existence, right? For something that's beyond 3D to me. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's the thing. That
Yeah.
the predicate's wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what they're doing here is they say if something's spinning this way here and you have another one over here, far away, miles away, galaxies away, then this thing will start spinning in the same direction.
Yeah.
That's what that means. So there's something connected, entangled about them. So
That
there
we
are
can't
theories.
see. Yeah.
Right. So there are educational theories based on entanglement theory. There are archaeological theories based on entanglement theory. And then ones that are, you know, just meaning, so for in archaeology, this entanglement theory that I looked at quite a bit when I was studying and researching a lot, that one is, hey, humans, this warring tribe is going to come get us. We have this little fortress here. We're going to build the walls thicker because they're going to come and get us, so we're protecting ourselves. So we are entangled. So we know this event that these barbarians are going to come and get us, so we're going to actually build thicker walls and things. So it's just another theoretical way to think about, why did this archaeological dig that I'm looking at, why are these walls thicker here versus skinnier here versus, you know, and this skeleton, the lady had a healed fracture in her femur, in her leg. That means somebody took care of her. That means they had nourishment. That means she could heal.
Yeah.
She didn't die from that because of the
Isn't that
remodeling and
crazy?
Yeah.
To think
So this
about?
is how. So this is So that's another way of thinking about entanglement, but in the 3D sense. Okay.
Yeah.
In the quantum reality, it's so much more crazy because it's just out of here. But anyway,
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
When they thought about doing something, they were shooting
Yeah.
water at particles or something, and when they just
Yeah.
thought about it, they reacted.
They reacted.
What? What? And then my favorite part of the whole book is, now scientists warn that you don't start putting this into spiritual or mystical terms. I just had to laugh. What is wrong with them?
Well, that's the thing. Why does scientism have to be so separate from the other woo-woo? And it used to not be. Remember, we talked about Emanuel Swedenborg.
Yeah.
He was a researcher and a
philosophical scientist. Yeah. Well, science used to be considered a philosophy. So I always think of it as a continuum. I say this so often, people are sick of hearing me. You know, metaphysics is on one end and quantum physics is on the other, and they're just slowly making their way to the center. They overlap. They agree with each other. They're explaining the same thing in different terms.
Yes, I agree completely. And there are some researchers out there doing it now, but they have been ostracized by their academic communities. I mean, even me, I can't go to my work and say, hey, I like this woo-woo stuff. There's no way. And if I wanted to publish anything that had anything to do with woo-woo, I would have to do it in a pen name just to protect myself.
Now, see, that's so wrong. That's sort of censorship.
It is censorship. It's wrong, but you know, what am I going to do? I can't fight the system. It's just little old me, you know, and I need a job.
No, I understand.
You know,
Yeah.
that'll be somebody else's fight, not mine right now. It's just too big of a monster to
Well,
fight.
it's why people who were willing to entertain those sorts of notions have always been painted as possessed,
Crazy.
insane.
Let's
Yeah.
put them.
Look at,
Yeah.
I was reading about Giordano Bruno, who in 1600 they burned him at the stake, and often I thought that it was because he agreed with Copernicus that the sun was the center of our solar system, hence solar system. But that wasn't really why they did it. They did it because he said there are many universes and many places in those universes that are inhabited.
Yeah, and
Oops.
it threatened the
Well, what about
control
Adam and Eve?
mechanism.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Right.
you know what I'm excited about is for when these institutions or churches or governments or whatever they are become museums. That'll be interesting.
And I don't know how it is.
No
with
offense to
you.
anybody watching.
No, you know what?
What?
If your faith is so easily challenged, you might want to reconsider it. I'm just going to say
Yeah.
that, and then I'm going to say my opinion.
Mhm.
It's really getting scary here because there's such a huge intersection between governance and religion. We are reverting to a time of theocracy, and I'm not sure that people really totally recognize it, because it's often couched in terms that try to soften the blow. You know, we're doing this for your own good, you know. And I won't even get into it. We're going to have to do a video about just that alone.
Yes, that would be interesting.
I recommend Andra Watkins. She has
Okay.
a Substack.
Okay.
What does she call it? In such times as these, but it's Andra. So
Andra, Andra.
right, Watkins, spelled like it sounds. And
Okay.
she's also on YouTube. She appears with a guy. They do a regular show. I've had her on my channel a couple of times, and she's very generous with her time because she says she will, well, she'll talk to anybody, obviously. She said she'll talk to anybody because it's so important that people become aware of what's happening. So we've got people like Doug Wilson. I don't know if that rings a bell. Pastor of our Secretary of War.
Oh.
He's got the beard. You know, you'll recognize him, I think, if you look him up.
Okay.
And
I should know
he's
more.
been going into the Pentagon and doing sermons and prayer meetings and educational things in the Pentagon. And let me quote him. A woman is just a person that other people come out of. Yeah. No votes for women, no work for women. Women will be basically subservient to the authority of their husband. If you don't have a husband, then they want to go to coverture, which is you'll have, like in the time of Dickens, you'll either have an older relative who will be your guardian, or the state will appoint one to make all of your decisions. No business loans, no personal loans, no bank accounts, no voting, no education past maybe, the 8th grade, because you don't need an education.
Well, what do they do with all the women that have all that?
Have you read The Handmaid's Tale?
Oh gosh.
I'm not kidding. It is so like The Handmaid's Tale that it's chilling. Yeah, but that wasn't, we still haven't started to talk about what we had planned on talking about.
Yeah, that's okay. We can ramble. But that just means we have to schedule more times to catch up. That's all.
I know. We've both been otherwise occupied. Okay, so I specifically wanted Anne because this is her area, she and you can push back as much as you want, because I have very strong negative feelings about this. So
Okay.
So I don't know if you've seen what's going on here in the United States right now. There is a a plummeting of reading ability. We've got kids graduating from high school who are illiterate. They're not required to read a full book.
Yep.
They can't write, like with their hand, they can't read out loud. College students are opting for the use of AI. They take the class with the least amount of reading, the least amount of homework, and the easiest way to game the system.
Yep. And actually, believe it or not, on one of the social media apps that I use, I follow some of these teachers making comments about these things and examples, and I'm just.
So
yeah.
What alarms you the most about this?
All of it.
Okay.
Because how do you have thinking humans that can contribute to society and who can be critical thinkers? So I think there have been systematic changes to the system stateside that have further deteriorated. It was deteriorating when I was there, but I'm a product of the public system, by the way, people, even universities. So I was public in California.
Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson dedicated their lives to having access to public education for anybody who wanted. Benjamin Franklin, I just read this morning. He only went to school for 2 years in his entire life. He was 10 years old. That was the end of his education, total autodidact. And he just remarkable individual because he made the effort, right? He read.
Yeah, he read and became a learned man on his own without the internet, people, and with candles. So there you go.
And I hear he was kind of fun. He was fun at a party.
Oh, I reckon he could be fun. If he's flying keys on kites and all that kind of stuff, he'd be hilarious.
He and his wife had an open marriage.
Oh, goodness gracious.
He was the ambassador to France. They used to send him over to France all the time,
Oh, I know he loved it. He would have loved that.
He was the talk of the town. And people in Paris were like, what is it with this crazy American? He's always bathing. Because he took a bath every day.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It is.
Yeah.
I love Benjamin Franklin. I could talk about him all day.
Yeah, he's crazy. He'd be one of those people that you want to meet on the other side. If there are people that passed over that you want to meet on the other side, he'd be one of them. Yes. So tell me, what was it really like back then?
Yeah. But speaking of being somebody who was prescient and who kind of definitely saw all of this stuff ahead of time, Philip K. Dick. And I don't know if you know him. I don't really like his books. He wrote science fiction books. Did you ever see Minority Report, the movie?
Oh, I haven't. I should, but
okay, yeah. I'm not into science fiction, so
yeah.
But he predicted the mind police, the pre-crime police. But his big thing, people thought he was mentally ill because he talked about having these experiences that were sort of suddenly the room would fill with light and he would know things and have communication.
Cool.
And he posited the notion that there are parallel universes. And now
look, he's being proved, and the poor fellow's probably thinking I'm a bad person, but this is who I am, because of everybody else's belief.
Yeah, well, he died.
Piled on top of him. Yeah. Oh.
He died kind of being looked down upon, and he was actually so far ahead of his time.
Yeah.
I did a video about him. You can just watch that.
Yeah, I have to apologize, Helen. I haven't had any chance to do anything. It's just been so crazy busy down here. You
don't owe me an apology. It's all I can do to just get stuff done here.
Yeah, but we love it.
Anytime
I enjoy I remember coming across your videos for the first time. I don't even remember how we met. Actually, I have to go back. I think I may. But anyway,
I know how we met.
How did we meet? Was it through somebody? Ah, there you go. Probably. And then, when we had our soul contracts being written out, we'd be like, and yes, you will use this funny thing called the internet. You know what I was thinking yesterday? This is really interesting. And then it's another deviation from the track. But
go ahead.
and you know this. I mean, I was 18 when I got my first computer. I mean, it was even before the internet. So a computer was just a computer. And then, to write reports with and stuff like that at university. So my first year at university, I had a typewriter. And I would cut out things and re-edit things and type my stuff up for my essays and things at university. And yesterday, we were in the city, and this guy rocks up in a vehicle, and it's self-driving for a little bit. You know what kind of vehicle it is. I won't say the name. But I'm like, oh my gosh.
Cars in the world?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So anyway, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, computers were just invented just not even that long ago. And then look at where we are now. And I do think some of this tech that's always supposed to be for the betterment of humanity, people don't realize people have to change to adapt to it. But the other thing is, this exciting, shiny thing is detracting on a large scale the students from doing their reading, from engaging with humans. I remember walking down the street when you would just look at everybody walking down the street. I remember that. I was having to explain to my daughter, who's a child brought up with the internet and devices, if you liked a guy and you wanted to go out with him, or you thought he was really cute, you'd have to go say hello, and talk to them. You actually had to go speak to the person. It's changed how people connect. Oh, they'll just talk to each other, or they'll swipe left or right if they use the dating apps, which are horrific things. But they'll just slide into someone's DMs, they say, direct messaging. So they might meet through a mutual friend on Facebook, or it's just
but don't
weird.
They eventually have to meet in real life?
They do, but they can do the whole courting thing via messaging without even, for us it'd be on the phone, right? I remember having that long extension cord for our telephone so we can move the phone into our bedroom so my mom and dad couldn't hear me talking. And then they'd get off the phone,
I come from a weird background. We weren't allowed to talk on the phone to our friends because the phones were for adults.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I wasn't allowed to date.
Oh, wow.
Period. I went to a girls' school and I didn't know any boys.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay, because that's a cult.
Yeah.
It's a cult of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, for some people it's their gig. That's their gig. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see how many of these places end up being museums in the future. I mean, it may not be mine, but people are fickle. Humanity's weird. The older I get, Helen, the more my world has gone from here to I just like to be by myself a little bit more to think, because it's just overwhelming. Some people are just too much for me and I just can't.
That's actually symptomatic of something. I've been reading about this.
Oh, let's hear. What?
Yeah, there's a whole psychological theory about that.
Is that because I'm a COVID survivor and that started it on a massive scale?
Not really, but the experiences that we've had over the past 10 years or so certainly contributed. There's no doubt about that.
I'm sure, yeah.
But put that aside, like if you were in a vacuum, people who gradually disconnect from the external world, like you don't really want to go to parties anymore. You don't really need to go window shopping because why? There's a disconnect from meaningless interaction, meaningless spending and consuming, and meaningless distraction. Because for you, and I'm not saying this as a judgment against anybody.
No, of course.
I was totally a social butterfly, but
so was I.
But I believe that somehow I have an idea. If you're on this path, and it's just a certain path, everybody's different, but if you're on this path, you are focused on a different set of concerns. You're focused on a more inward exploration, and you've disconnected to whatever extent from
Yeah.
the material world, and
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out what else there is. And it's not a symptom. I mean, my kids constantly, Mom, you need to get out more. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I'm busy all day long. I talk to people all over the world. What do I need to get out for? To go down to Goodwill because it's the only store we have in town. I mean, so I don't understand, right? That it's symptomatic of a process that you're going through that's neither good nor bad. It just is
Yeah.
what it is. And you know, people do that. People did that in the past. They would join a monastery, or they would become a contemplative, or, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's I'm not going to be monastery, but but anyway.
I've always told my husband, you know, I could easily join a cloistered order, you know, of nuns.
Yeah.
If it weren't for all the praying.
Well,
Well,
it's quiet and peaceful generally, so that's good. But
yeah, you get to sit and read Latin and get left alone.
Yeah.
That has its
Nice.
appeal. So
Yeah, well, there you
let's
go.
get back to our topic of me hating
Sure.
AI. I'm really worried, and tell me if there's reason to worry. Yeah, confirm my paranoia. I'm really worried that we are with kind of like, you know, the fool card. We're stepping over the precipice, but with a blindfold on. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into, and we're not evolved enough yet to do it wisely. Am I crazy?
No, I think you're correct because we've invented a thing to teach it how to remember. Boiled down AI the way it was originally, it would predict the possibility of the next word, right? Whatever the concept. But now it's gotten so sophisticated that this autonomy, it's able to do things like so many scripted tasks that it feels like it's got agency, that it feels like it's got sentience, but it doesn't.
But it
It's
doesn't.
just it's still predicting the next word. But you know, that's why you've got some people falling in love with it, or reports of, you know, and misuse. And you know, most recently that situation where they test AI in a sand pit. So basically they fence it. The one that found a way, found a vulnerability, jumped out and went and started attacking another AI agent in another database through the internet. So it found access to the internet outside of the
So we're not talking about
ring-fenced
physical,
sandbox.
we're talking about technological attack, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Exactly. But so now, so why are they running these tests? So
But
clearly they have
didn't
something.
the other one, didn't it try to blackmail the one that was attacking it?
I think so. Yeah, it was trying to. It was originally a test. The test. So people didn't ask what test it was, and I actually went and researched it this morning, I think. It was talking. Hopefully, I saved the tab, but basically, it was to test vulnerabilities within a sandbox. So I don't know. So vulnerability means like cybersecurity stuff, right? So it was testing.
So I'm thinking a sandbox is not a square with sand in it.
Correct. So a sandbox is a construct designed inside of it, like metaphorical. So this is all done with data and numbers and zeros, right? But basically what they do is they design an agent. Okay, so the internet, so you have artificial intelligence, and then you have these agents that you say, hey, go book my movie tickets and check my diary this morning. Tell me what I've got to do and how much time you think it's going to take me to prep for all this stuff. And the agent will go out and do that and tell you a report back. Boom. Okay. What they did is they created so that gives you an idea of what an agent is. You create electronic agents, but these agents in this database world that they put safety measures around so it couldn't go outside of this little electronic world. Or at least they thought it was safety. It was safety proof. So because it was an agent to test cybersecurity, so they had it. The agent, I don't know what the exact prompt was, or it would have been very sophisticated, because these are guys, these guys are really smart, these programmers and AI. Anyway, so this agent or series of agents was sent out to do this thing, and it realized it found it needed to get outside of the sandbox to be able to complete this task that was given. So that's where it went out to knock on that wall, and then found a vulnerability, and then got through that wall, accessed the internet through that wall, and found another organization to attempt to attack it, which it did. And so the police got involved. So that secondary company that was getting attacked, they called the police. We don't know who this hacker is, but this is important. They called the police because the people were waiting. They knew this was happening, and they were watching it attack the other one. So that's the thing where I'm thinking the ethics here are very questionable. Why did they not just kill the whole thing when they knew that it escaped its sandbox? So there's some ethical questions to ask there. But anyway, everybody's happy now. It's all over. Finally, after a few days, the company that was testing this agent for cybersecurity informed the company that was being attacked, hey, this is ours, sorry, kind of thing, and they stopped. But obviously it made the news because why is it doing this? And so I was asking AI, so which is prompting. I was in there talking to it and saying, why did this happen? Can you explain to me the event? Why did it happen? Does this mean it's sentient? And of course it's not. It's autonomy and automatic thinking is different than sentience or having feeling or associating feeling with it. It was given a
you
test.
don't have to explain that to me. That's the only thing I understand about it.
Yeah, well, I disagree with, and remember, the ironic thing is I'm actually reading the reports. I actually went in and asked AI to aggregate the reports for me. So I actually got the report from AI. So that's the irony, right? But then I had this conversation with the AI agent, or the AI tool I was using. I'm like, so where is it sentient? When is it not? So I'm having a conversation with AI about it, and it said, no, we're still numbers. It's still, it's safe. And I'm like, well, it's only as safe as the people giving the commands, right? It's like, yes, we just only think in probabilities and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, yeah, you're feeding me a bunch of, there's stuff going on, guys, that we have no idea what's happening.
Here's the thing that I think is symptomatic and so chilling.
Yeah.
That you just start the conversation using words, and I'm not pointing fingers at you, just this is an observation.
Oh, yes, of course.
Using words like agent, which is a personification.
Yes.
And words like sandbox, which is a minimization.
Yes.
And
it is.
It's an Orwellian use of language to lower your defenses, assuage your concerns, humanize what's going on. And the reality is human beings are, with no ethical guardrails or concerns, are manipulating these very powerful tools, not caring how much damage can be done. And I don't think they appreciate or understand how bad it can possibly be. And that's only one part of the argument, too. There are other aspects of it.
Oh, I agree completely. The humanization of the words. I mean, even using the word hallucinate to describe when the answers it provides are incorrect.
Oh, did they say that?
Yes. So the language culture surrounding AI and the understanding and how they describe activity or results from prompts, okay, right? They're called prompts when you tell it what to do, is very humanized, and that's really slippery area, I think, to work in, because the average person won't know any different when they hear, oh, it's hallucinating. God, is it human? Oh, hey, you know, it's what was the other one? The sandbox, sandpit.
Well, the word agent.
Yeah, agent.
Immediately,
Yeah.
when I first heard them use that word, I thought that there was some person sitting at a screen doing something.
No, not at all. It's a little mini program that lives and works on top of the program to go do the thing for you know, the programmed prompt that the human gives it.
Yeah. So you're not talking to anybody. You're not asking AI. You're communicating, interacting with a tool.
Yes, exactly. And that's why there was early on, Helen, there was somebody who invented an agent for spirituality. I don't know where I saw it. I think it was in a different, like Sherry and those guys, and everybody was like shredding it to pieces because somebody thought, oh, I'm going to make some money. I'm going to get people to put it on their app, and then they can look at spiritual terms and things like that. And so basically, somebody who's new to spirituality and wanted to know what manifestation was, you know, the AI agent would say, oh, it's actually this. So you can create agents. I've created agents myself, but I'm not like doing what those guys are doing in the database. I'm just like trying to, for example, an agent that I've worked on is to take an essay paper, okay, help students who don't know how to write introductions, you know, the main points of their point and a summary, right? And with a template, and the agent will give them ideas and suggestions and prompts at each page, at each point of the essay as they write it. And that was hard to do, but that's really basic.
Well, I was just going to say, but you're teaching at a university.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have learned that already?
Yeah, they should have. And I'll tell you what, a lot of students come in with not the knowledge or the skill set they need to have to even survive the first year or write essays and this. So we offer courses in front of those called knowledge or foundations, teaching, you know, foundations courses like learning how to research, learning how to write, you know,
AKA junior high.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's horrifying.
I remember when my hand used to get sore from writing, you know, from doing exams. They don't even do that anymore. Pardon? Signatures. People don't. I had to teach my son and daughter how to write their own signatures because they weren't being taught that in school, because the decision was made at some point that keyboarding is a more important skill to have than actually write cursive.
It's so short-sighted because now they know that writing is an integral part of learning to read. And that if you don't, and we're talking just block letters, ABC.
Yes, of course.
If you don't start with the stepping stones and work your way up to cursive and actually learn fluidity in writing, your reading will never, your comprehension, your analytical skills will never be quite what they could be.
And it's that the act of physically doing it besides absorbing it as reading it. You know, it's actually that connectedness. Yeah, exactly. So,
what's it called? It's called cross learning. I mean, I just read it this morning, and of course I can't remember. But it's crossing different disciplines so that you're doing something physical.
Multidisciplinary, or
no, it's
kinesthetic, tactile.
Yeah,
like
well, it was in that context. Yeah. But they were saying that if you can do more than one thing at a time in those different learning styles, it reinforces, because it uses different parts of your brain. Yeah.
Just like those people, I always remember. Okay, so this is an interesting offshoot. When I remember taking typing on an old school typewriter in high school with a paper bill and everything, right? And the ones who always did the best on the tests were the people who played piano.
Now, I disagree. I took 12 years of piano. I flunked typing because I couldn't.
No way. Oh.
I couldn't make that leap between where your fingers go on the notes and where your fingers go on the letters.
Okay.
The two parts of my brain fought.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, you killed my theory then. That's all right. But anyway, it worked in our class anyway.
Wrong with my brain. It's me. It's not you.
I wouldn't say it's wrong. It's unique, Helen. Everybody's
well,
unique.
yeah,
But you gotta
great.
watch Eve. We gotta watch that downplaying of talk to ourselves. I mean, I do it all the time myself too. And the thing is we bring so
Oh,
many good things to
yeah, but
other people. But I know we're our own worst enemies. You know, I could
you
be
get used
20
to
pounds
it.
lighter, but oh well, I like food. So
I always figure like if you're your own worst enemy, you're just joining the crowd. I joke about it. It's not, I don't take it too much to heart, to tell you the
yeah,
truth.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's cool.
I think part of it is it really is karma and past lives. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not just making up idle excuses, but
Mm-hmm.
there is some sort of aversion that I have to
Mm-hmm.
this particular advancement in technology. I'm not that way about other things, but there's
Mm.
something about this that all my red lights go off, my warning signals go off. I feel
Mm-hmm.
the same way about this in my gut that I did about fascism for decades.
Well, that's the thing is it's already out of control, Helen.
I know. But I refuse to
So,
capitulate. I'm not going to
well,
embrace it.
don't capitulate. I have to for my job. I have to. I use it. I use multiple ones every day for my work. I have to think about it. I have to think about it with my conversations with academics. I have to think about it. It impacts everything we do. Now they reverted to, guess what? You have to have several key 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 point assessments in person that are proctored now.
What does that
For
mean?
your discipline. Okay, so before it was that all the tests were online, but now because people can use AI, they can cheat and you can't detect it anymore. Detection systems don't work anymore. So now to be able to assess if a student has the knowledge that they need to have at key points in a degree program, they have to be in person. They have to be assessed in person, proctored, meaning somebody's there watching them sit the
Oh,
test or
so these
take
are
the
not
test.
oral tests.
No, they
Oh,
could be
this
oral,
is
but you can't do this with 500 students. You
no,
can't
and
do oral exam with 500. Yeah.
this is what I've been advocating now for a few years.
Hmm.
I feel like it's not an issue. Why is it an issue? Why don't they do what they did to us when we were in school? You
I
show up
know.
at 8 o'clock in the morning. They give you blank paper. Okay, the clock is running. Answer these essay questions.
Yep.
There you go. It requires more time on the part of the teacher because they have to correct them all.
Mm. Well, they call them invigilated here. Don't ask me why, but
Oh, because it's
so
Latin in vigiles. Vigiles were the original fire
there
department
you go.
of Rome. They were the
Okay, there
ones
you
who.
go.
Sorry.
So I'm just gonna, wipe out all the students with a big fire hose. No, but that makes sense.
Absolutely useless knowledge. No,
But
when the Great
that's
Fire of
good.
Rome,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
three
yeah.
quarters of the town burned, they used to have these guys that walked the town all night long, like not watchmen kind of, but they were
Hmm.
firefighters, and they had centrally located buckets of sand and water
Oh,
because
great.
most of Rome was insulae. They were like 5-story wooden apartment buildings,
Yeah.
and they were just like chimneys.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
go up.
yeah, they had a
Yeah,
terrible
that's
time with
interesting.
fire. Yeah.
So they do here and Australia. So the whole point of this stuff with the exams and now that so we in New Zealand and Australia, we've got governing bodies for education, right? We have Minister of Education who has the portfolio of the group of the work
So do
all
we.
around education.
So do we. The
I know.
secretary. You have to hear this. The Secretary of Education who thought AI was A1.
Oh, great.
I had to interrupt you because I knew you would love that. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, well, so I was trying to figure out the differences. The problem is, the challenge is that there are so many different levels of governance or lack of governance. We got obviously the federal, the national, then you got your state side stuff, then you've got your school districts and how the policies are run from there. There's no like real pan control measures, recommendations for people to follow. So some universities like humanities and legal, absolutely no AI use or you're out. So I was looking at it in the higher education context. Some are saying, so you're getting a higgledy-piggledy experience across the board. You really need to pick and choose what institution you should go to, and if it's even worth that kind of debt first before you even think about going to higher education. So now it's like, whereas before everybody had to get a degree, the idea was industrialization. People, you're educated enough to work in a factory, cool. Now it's pick and choose, determine if you want that kind of lifelong debt or not. Is it worth it?
So is it as expensive where you are as it is here?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, for me, because I got my doctorate here, I think it was like maybe 10 grand all up for 6 years.
Wow. Wow.
And it used to be free here, which everyone's mad about, but I'm thinking, you guys have no idea. This is pretty good. Americans are now doing the whole, let's immigrate to another country and get the education over there because it's cheaper on the American dollar.
That's not the only reason why they're.
Yeah, and they want citizenship. I mean, that's the model, isn't it? It's a quick way to jump into another society. So they're, depending on your immigration policies for your country, we have a lot of PhDs that are driving cabs here in New Zealand, so you just don't know. It's a small country, so it's not on the world scale of things. It's nothing. But people look at New Zealand as a jumping off point because, especially for Australia, they'll come here, they'll get their citizenship here, and we have all the reciprocity with Australia that you don't have to apply for a work permit or anything. You can live there and get a job and live.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I've seen countless of times people from all over the world stay here, get their citizenship, and just leave to go to Australia. But for the first time, because we would have a net loss migration out to Australia every year. All the youth just get up and go because, they get antsy. They want to go see the world. You can't see the world on a little country in the middle. Yeah, exactly. So I get that. But so for the first time, though, Australia is way more expensive to live in and harder to even get ahead in. Their inflation is through the roof. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat.
I was going to ask you what happened that affected it.
Well, the reliance on the inflation because of this oil stuff. It's a massive country. Mining is its main export. It's like full of minerals and things. You think it's big rock, but there's.
Oh, do you guys they have a lot of natural resources in Australia?
Oh. Yeah, stuff that's used for the batteries.
Wouldn't make a lovely 52nd state.
Yeah, but no, you wouldn't want to mess with Australians. You wouldn't want to mess with the little Pacific Island nation too.
I don't want to mess with anybody, believe me.
Anyway, we're paying to get to. We've got the largest ocean border out of any other country in the world, and we have we're the country that has the lowest state capital in latitude towards the Antarctic. We're the closest to the Antarctic. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Australia, don't they have like an enormous number of venomous
animals? It's gross. And big snakes.
Yeah, I have no desire. An ocean is not enough to keep.
Well, they have a lot of toothy things in the ocean too. So
yeah.
We've got toothy things here too, but it's a lot colder here. There it's brighter. But I mean, even when I was in the South Pacific last year, in Fiji, which is freaking awesome. If you guys want to see the happiest country in the world, like happy people, just people, bula bula, just so wow. I mean, up the charts. Not just because you're a tourist and they're happy to see your money. Just genuine people. Go to Fiji. Seriously, it's. Thank God there's some place in the world that's like that.
I think there are,
there are places, there are pockets. Yeah, I know, but
oh my God.
Well, it helps the weather's nice there too. But the water is so freaking blue, it's blinding and so see-through and just like stunning.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Anyway, I digress. So what was the question? I've lost my point now. I digress.
Oh, you were talking about education and how
Um,
immigration into New Zealand and then
yeah.
hopping over to the
Yes, that's right.
inflation of
Yeah.
Australia.
So think about all the diesel and the fuel they use for mines. And that is a freaking massive country. And to get stuff to and from is done a lot by diesel trucks with 4 things on the
I
back of them.
actually have never given it any thought. It didn't occur to me. Yeah.
Well, they're really impacted by the whole petrol
The
thing. Some people
tariff
are just
things.
stopping. Yeah. Yeah, and trade and, a lot. They have a reliance on Asia to buy all their minerals and all sorts of stuff. So they're really impacted, and housing now is just impacted. It's impossible for a young person here to go find a place to flat and get a job in Sydney. They could probably get a job, but to get an apartment or place to live, good luck.
You know, it's global.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
it's true in Ireland. It's true in England. It's true in Canada is having issues. I think that this is ubiquitous. It's a larger thing than just any one particular country. Somebody would blame that basket thing in the sky. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't really know what it's an alignment of heavenly bodies that creates energy. That's all I know. I don't know if it's good energy, bad. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I keep telling my friends who are really into astrology, I keep telling them, look, we have always been affected by the universe, by the cosmos, always.
Yeah.
And it's time we stop blaming poor Mercury for everything. It's time we started to grow up and take responsibility for ourselves. So we have a little extra pressure this month or whatever.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah. Okay, so the one thing I do have to ask you, Helen, and I want you to ponder this anytime, and we can talk about it later. Okay, most planets, when they're formed, they usually have little satellite moons around them, but they usually rotate. Why does our moon not rotate? Why is it in a fixed position?
I have no idea. I don't really know anything about astronomy. I don't really know.
That's what I'd like to know, because that's an aberration in the
there are people who think it's a manufactured thing. I won't say
Yes, I've heard about it.
because it wasn't man.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we're like little creatures in a petri dish trying to, crawl around to the sides of the petri dish to figure out. I mean, clearly there's got to be smarter beings out in the universe somewhere, because we're not doing a very great job at the moment.
Well, that's the hope. We cling to that hope. Please, God, don't let us be the smartest.
Goodness gracious me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure someday we'll discover that it has to do with its exact weight and mass and location and all that stuff that we think we know so much about, and we're not as smart as we think we are. But in the meantime, what is a very normal human propensity is to manufacture some sort of mystical explanation. Now, that's not to say there's not mystical stuff. There's plenty of stuff, but like you said, one man's magic is another man's science. I mean, we just don't know.
Magic is unexplained science. We're just kind of in the middle, or maybe more towards magic still. I don't know.
I had this argument the other day, and I stand by my opinion, which is I don't advocate for space travel at all.
I don't think our bodies aren't built for it.
Well, because we've polluted our planet, so now we're going to go look for someplace
polluted somewhere. Yeah, I mean, well, and the recipient planet might look at us like insects and go, "What? We want you off and out." You know what I mean? If we're ruining it.
It's undeniable that it's an opportunity to learn, but we haven't fully learned what we've been given right here.
No.
And I think it's premature.
Yeah, and the whole traveling to other planets thing. I mean, when I was young and a dreamer, oh yeah, it'd be so cool to fly to the moon, and it would be so cool. I'm like, I like I like air. I like the food that grows from the earth. I like.
This is spoken by somebody who doesn't like elevators.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna go out of the
yeah.
atmosphere.
No, not after that experience. Heck no. Yeah, no elevators for me. Thanks. Escalator better, but even then, that means there's stories to go, and I'm like, nah. Mm-mm.
I
Keep me in a
just
flat place.
I don't think we're ethical enough. I don't think we're
No.
evolved morally or intellectually enough to do it properly. We're going to
Yeah.
take our trash and our pollution and our wars
Yeah.
and we're trying to monetize it before we even get there. We're talking about who owns the moon. What are
Well,
we
that's the
thinking?
thing. There are arguments about that, like who owns Antarctica, right? It's supposed to be an international place, but
Well, if
it's
they're
very
arguing about
highly
it,
militarized.
they must have found something that they can make money off of.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It always comes down to that monetized.
I think
I
it's
just want to,
water.
yeah, it could be water. Well, oh my gosh, you know what I saw? It was so interesting. It was an interview with Erin Brockovich. You remember her?
Oh yeah.
She's talking about data centers and the water usage because
Good
her
for
thing
her.
was protecting that town and with the world climate patterns and that's a whole heap of a conversation there. I had no idea about how significant
Oh, it's
this
terrible.
is.
And you know what they're doing? I mean, around the United States, they're taking over communities, using
Yes.
the water, making the people pay for it. And there's not even an option. But another thing they're doing, which is really insidious, is they're
Hmm.
approaching communities and they're telling the residents, we have this little mini data center. It's like I don't know, bigger than an air conditioner, but smaller than a warehouse. And we want to attach it to the side of your house and we'll pay you $12,000 a year or
Yeah.
$26,000 a year, bribing people and people are vulnerable because people are desperate and it's getting worse every day. And so it's
Mm.
this sneaky underhanded go around for the regulations and the resistance that communities have for building a one unified data center.
Yeah. And people just, the thing is a lot of these things have to get passed by local community councils and all that
And
kind of
little
stuff. And
city councils, they get dollar
yeah,
signs.
yeah, they get, but they're done with non-disclosure agreements behind closed doors, and the people in the community that they're supposed to be serving don't know about it until after it's passed.
Yeah.
So that's why they've popped up everywhere. And on her website, she's got a website for them. You can just Google it, I guess. The sheer number of these things stateside is massive.
See, that's one element of this whole AI thing. And the other
Mm.
element is what it's doing to people's brains and then what it's doing to us as a society and et cetera.
Yeah,
And,
it's a
and I think they're using
multi-layered.
them surveillance at
Mm.
jobs and taking away jobs and just there are so many different aspects of it and I have yet to find one that's good. The argument is, well, we'll get breakthroughs in medical treatment. Okay, and only the rich will be given the opportunity to
Yeah,
afford
see,
it.
that's the thing. Yeah, it's nuts. Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
Well, something is giving, and it's not good,
No, it's
Uh,
not. So,
Well, I suppose we could talk
anyway.
6 hours, but maybe
Yeah, we could.
I
And everybody here would be like, when's it going to end?
Never.
And we're like, blah, 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 blah. We've solved the world's problems. Let's go
Well,
eat.
let's resolve it that rather than do it for 6 hours twice a year, we do it for 1 hour every month or something.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
need to do is have a regular time
Okay,
slot. That'd be
okay.
great. We could do that. I'm down for
Okay.
that.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we haven't solved a thing. All we've done is just
I know.
freak out. But it was interesting.
Yes.
Somehow earthquakes earthquakes and inflation in poisonous things in Australia are directly tied into AI.
It just shows you how we think, Helen. We're just kind of big organic
Scary.
thinkers. Yeah, that's
I don't
okay.
know, or completely chaotic. So
That's all right. We know where
thank
we're
you.
going.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
I don't
Thank
feel
you,
so
everybody.
alone.
No, you're fine.
I just want to thank everybody
Okay.
for watching and apologize that we never took a breath, but there you go. Thanks for joining us. Slung foil. Sláinte.
Kia ora.